Hi, welcome. Today we're going to talk about Dream No Evil. Dream No Evil is an obscure 1970 horror movie written and directed by John Hayes. John Hayes had been directing movies throughout the 60s, but if you think this one's obscure, the other ones are even less popular, and most of them weren't horror, if any. So, Dream No Evil is a story that's well written, a movie that's well done, well acted, but I'm going to get into its flaws in a minute, but if you are interested in watching this one, I suggest that you turn this video off now, because I'm going to go step by step through the plot. And before you do turn it off, I'll tell you right now it's a 6 out of 10. Good story, good acting, that's about it. Okay, so we're going to go through the story, and I wouldn't really race out to watch this one. You could rent it on YouTube for $3 at the time that I'm doing this. But I think actually if I give you a 5-minute synopsis of it, it'll probably be as interesting as watching it yourself. So, the movie starts off with a little girl in an orphanage who has nightmares. Okay? And the girl wakes up screaming for her daddy, but she's an orphan, so she has no daddy. Okay, so the woman who's in charge of the orphanage kind of tries to calm her down, and then it skips right to a scene where all the orphans line up, and some lady chooses her out of all the orphans, and then they make all the other orphans go. So then she's adopted. Then it skips to when she's an adult. Okay, and she has become engaged to the son of the man who was married to the woman that adopted her. And so her fiance is studying to become a doctor. The girl's name is Grace, and the fiance's name is Patrick. Now, while he's studying to become a doctor, she has, and here's where it starts to get interesting, gone on tour with Patrick's brother. They are a 2-person team of missionaries or people that are trying to get people to believe in Jesus Christ. And so how do they do this? They go around and the guy preaches, Patrick's brother preaches, while Grace strips down to what is similar to a bodysuit or a bathing suit. She climbs a 30-foot tall ladder and then free falls into a soft beanbag thing that is supposed to represent hell, and she's supposed to represent a sinner. So she climbs up there, exploits her own body, and then falls to hell. And so that is supposed to get the audiences around the country, or at least around California, to not sin. Okay, actually, I said this was well written, and now as I'm saying it out loud, I'm not so sure. Anyway, the girl is on a hunt for her father, because she's been dreaming of her father the whole time she's been alive. And so she's determined to find her father. Okay, so if the Christian 2-person circus wasn't strange enough, one day she goes to a hotel, and the hotel is full of old men. And she has a feeling that her father is there. So she asks around for her father, and none of the old men know her father. Then all of these old prostitutes start coming in. See, this is where it gets interesting. These old prostitutes come in, and they start linking up with all these old men. And then the pimp comes in, and he gets mad that this young girl is there because she's hotter than all the old prostitutes. Then he offers her a job, and he's just like, oh, well, why don't you come work for me? And she's like, no, I work for a Christian circus, so leave me alone. And he's like, well, what the hell are you doing here then? She says, I'm looking for my father. And he goes, oh, you must be the daughter of so-and-so. Now, how would this guy know that that is the daughter of some random guy? Well, we find out later. And so she's like, yeah, where is he? And he says, oh, he died yesterday. He's at my place. So she's like, okay. And he's like, oh, I'm an undertaker. This is just my other business. So he's a pimp and an undertaker. Okay, so she goes to his house, and there is her father lying on like an embalming table. Now, she's never met her father before because she's an orphan, but right away she says, oh yeah, that's my father. And he's like, okay, well, I'll embalm him for free. And she's like, okay. And then he says, I'll give you a couple minutes. I'm going to go to my office. So she is looking at him, and then she kind of turns around, then she looks back, and her father all of a sudden is awake. And then she runs to the undertaker, says, don't embalm him. He's awake. Undertaker's like, he's not awake, he's dead. They go back, he checks him, he's dead. The girl says, please don't embalm him. We need to get a doctor in here. I think he's alive. They both turn around. The dead father gets up, kills the undertaker with a scalpel. Now, this is on screen. Actually, this is probably the most exciting part of the whole movie. Kills him with a scalpel. You don't see the scalpel go in, but he falls down, and then the blood runs on the white floor, and it kind of goes down the drain. And he also, as he's falling down, he grabs onto this pole, which I assume is embalming fluid, but it's purple. So you get this purple and red mix. That was pretty cool. Okay, that was probably the coolest shot of the whole movie. So anyway, now the girl's reunited with her dad, and she goes to live with her dad. They go live in this little farmhouse out in rural Southern California. And her partner, who is also her fiance's brother, comes for a visit. And then the dad starts playing an accordion, which was very random. And the girl starts doing a accordion dance. And then she kind of like pulls up her dress, and it's like slightly seductive, but it's also kind of like an Irish jig. Anyway, she ends up taking the fiance's brother into a barn and trying to have sex with him in some hay. And the father comes, catches them, and kills the partner with what looks like a railroad spike, although I don't know why there would be a railroad spike in there, but that's what it looked like. So he kills him. Then she takes the body and throws him into a public dump, which is kind of interesting. So we got enough action going on here. He does kill that guy off screen though, which is not very satisfying. Then the fiance comes for a visit, but the fiance unfortunately has now fallen in love with his like classmate. So the girl's sad. Oh, meanwhile, the sheriff is looking for the brother. He comes over to the house, and while he's looking, the father kills the sheriff with a scythe. It's on screen, but there's no blood. And then, so the dead sheriff is like stashed inside the driver's seat of a car, the front seat of a car. The fiance comes, but he comes with his new girlfriend, which is not a good move when you're visiting a girl with a psycho father, and tries to break up with the girl. Then the girl tries to kill her fiance with an axe, and the fiance stops her, but not until after she ruins his car with the axe, which was kind of cool. And so he stops her. His new girlfriend injects her with some kind of sedative, and then the police come and reveal that there is no father. The girl never had a father. The girl is psychotic and has manifested her father and also is a psychotic murderer. So she has killed 4 people after all. And the movie pretty much ends right there. Now, I know it's 1970, but I've done this in many videos. Going back, the fact that it's 1970 is no excuse for a lack of effects, because we had brilliant effects in multiple other movies from 1970, or at least 3, including, as you know, Beast of Blood and a few others. I Drink Your Blood. And what was that other one? I really liked the Japanese one. So if we had more cool visual effects on this, it would have been cool, because the whole like manifesting of the father, you don't really know the father is in her mind until the end. So that was pretty cool. And the weird, like, Christian Circus thing was pretty interesting. So all in all, I would say it was a good try, but considering what we know we could get, it kind of falls short on the visuals. And in the horror realm, we do want visuals, don't we? Okay, we want to see all this crazy stuff. We don't want it to happen off camera. So overall, I'd say 6 out of 10. Dream No Evil. John Hayes did go on to make a few other movies in the 70s, so we'll be talking about those in the future. And that's it for this one. Okay, see you next time.